It's no secret that triathletes are not known as the best bike handlers. However, this can all be changed, and we should really look for that as athletes. We always want to push the envelope, we want more speed, but what are we giving up when we slack on bike handling skills or we can't descend? And we've all been there in any triathlon when we're heading through an aid station or down a hill or in the wet conditions where we're coming up on athletes who just aren't comfortable. I'm a coach and I work with athletes all the time to try and improve bike handling skills. I grew up as a bit of a daredevil. I was racing motorcycles, four-wheelers, I snowboarded, I kiteboarded, so my handling and perception really increased over time, and I was afforded a lot of opportunities to test myself as a kid. That's not the case for everyone, but then we're throwing you on a bike, we're sending you downhill at 25 miles an hour, and we're expecting you to know how to handle your machine. So in this video, I wanted to kind of prepare you all for some things that I use as a cyclist to overcome these hurdles and how I balance myself on my machine. As you see me doing in these videos, I'm either in aerodynamic position, using my body weight to maneuver myself over the bike, or I'm up on the bars and I'm even using my body, like my knee, to kick over, almost like a MotoGP rider. You'll see those guys really lean over the bike, and those are actually what I tell cyclists to look at as a great example. How do these professional motorcyclists handle their bike at 150 miles an hour around a corner when we have a hard time going downhill or even on a flat technical surface at 18 to 25 miles an hour. So here are some things that you can control on your bike very easily. You can control your weight distribution. Where is your weight in comparison to the bars and in your pedals? Now, some of us even get death wobble sometimes if we've got too much bar pressure going downhill and we're too tense, and that's when the bike will start to shimmy and vibrate rapidly, and that is freaking scary. How do you handle that? First off, you just gently bleed off the speed by feathering the brakes until you get control, or you can use your knees to kind of grip the top tube of your bike and then also put your weight back on your pedals. Now, as you can see, while I corner, I'm not pedaling through a lot of the steep corners because I don't want my pedal to hit the ground, and that's also something else that's happened to me in a crit race. I was really doing well, pedaled out, took about 3 guys down with me. So if you're going into a nice apex, usually you stop pedaling, you put that knee to where it's in an uncompromised position, almost at the top of the pedal stroke, so where that pedal is not anywhere near the ground. So that's the key there. Also, you want to look through the corner. You don't want to look at 3 feet in front of you. You want to know how you're going to maneuver out of that corner, because that's almost more important as to how you're going to go into the corner. If you've got a double yellow line and you can't take the direct apex, sometimes you got to go wide, bleed some speed, and then stay off the brakes through the corner. Set your speed up before you get to the corner and then ride it through, almost like you'd see a MotoGP rider do. They carry all that speed through, and then you want to get into a straight line out of that corner as fast as possible to optimize your momentum. And even if you got to pedal out of the corner, that can help. So some other ways you can really improve your bike handling skills is through finding some place that you feel safe and you feel comfortable. It always starts with something in your backyard. Maybe it's a couple of cones that you have to slalom through to figure out how to put weight on your bars and your feet to just go. And if you do it at a slower speed, that requires even more balance, and that'll fine-tune your skills. Next, you can try to find some sort of a light graded downhill, probably in a straight line. Let's figure out a speed that you're a little bit uncomfortable with, and then let's push that envelope a little bit more. Once you maybe see the speedometer hit 25, 32 miles an hour, for example, then gently get back on the brakes and then coast back to a safe speed, climb back up and do it over again. These things will take a lot of time and patience, especially if you're a nervous rider. Now, the whole point of this is to take the nerves out of it and let your repetitive motions that you've trained take over and keep you safe, and most importantly, keep other riders safe. Next, when you're ready to take it down to a bigger descent, obviously you want to make sure the road is safe enough for you to do so. You don't have traffic whizzing by you. I personally like to find a nice paved, beautiful road where there's not a lot of debris or there's not a lot of other people coming up the course that are going to maybe cause some issues, maybe like a car double passing. In that circumstance, what I do is I try to line up my next few corners if I can see them. And you always want to look down the road. If you're only focused on the one corner, you're kind of setting yourself up for failure by not knowing what's well ahead of you, because that speed that you carry out of one corner can certainly slingshot you through the other. As you can see through some of the videos, I'm almost leaning over the bike and I'm using my body weight to push down and slingshot myself through the corner, almost like a bullet. One way that I like to kind of describe how to be a better bike handler is to be a palm tree. So if you think about it, any really stiff, rigid object in the wind will eventually fail and crack. But if you look at Florida, right now even, there's probably a hurricane going through it, you can see the palm trees are just bending, they're waving back and forth. Same thing when a gust of wind hits you when you're descending, because that's another obstacle we have to go through. There's big, deep wheels on our aerodynamic tri-bikes, and those front wheels get a little unstable when we hit a gust of 20 miles an hour. You just gently let the wind gust you back, and you keep a little bit of light pressure on your bars, and you should be able to always wiggle your fingers, and then you just weave back into it. Just like a palm tree, it's gonna sway and it's gonna come back. And you have to think of yourself as a very fluid object when you're on the bike. You can't just have rigid shoulders and rigid elbows be completely locked off and expect yourself to be able to corner well and handle any distractions. Let's say that even a bird comes in front of you. That sometimes has happened. Or I've probably almost hit more deer on my bike than I have in a car, because sometimes they just dart out in front of you when you're on these beautiful descents. So building some comfort levels when you're descending quickly and teaching yourself to be more fluid in motion is going to be the absolute key. All the speed you're working for as an athlete to get uphill, you're giving it away for free if you're not willing to utilize it downhill. Let's just say if you don't use it, you lose it. All right, so there you have it. There are some pro tips from someone who has gone down and crashed, gotten back up, learned from the mistakes, and also wants to help you. So make sure you think about being a palm tree, be very relaxed, and then gently nudge yourself into becoming a better overall cyclist that people will not be scared of when they see. Have fun out there, keep it on two wheels, and thanks for watching.